Hello, this is our explanation for our Capstone project for Management 665, Business Analytics and Data Mining at Kansas State University with Dr. J. I'm Spencer Brown.
And I'm Jared Dinkle.
Our challenge for this project was to mine through and transform a dataset to determine which merchandising campaign would be more successful for the company. The company randomly divided its customer base into 64,000 individuals into three equal segments at random, and then delivered either a men's merchandising campaign, a women's merchandising campaign, or no email campaign at all. We used a series of different analyses and data transformation techniques to come up with our answers that we will explain below. Firstly, we ran a decision tree. It was our most accurate testing tool and really helped us check through our test, and it ran with 85% accuracy. The first question, which email campaign performed the best, the men's version or the women's version, was easy to answer. The men's email had a higher conversion count than the women's, and those who did not receive any email, while the men had more visits to the website than the women, but the visits for women were closer in comparison to the men than for conversion. How much incremental sales per customer did the men's version of the email campaign drive? How much incremental sales per customer did the women's version of the email campaign drive? Men had more incremental sales than women, and men sold more than women by about 7,000. If you could only send an email campaign to the best 10,000 customers, which customers would receive the email campaign and why?
For this one, you would do follow-up communication after 1.5 months through the 6 months since the customer's last purchase. And the customers that would receive the email campaign would be the customers in history segments of 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you had to eliminate 10,000 customers from receiving an email campaign, which customers would you suppress from the campaign and why? We decided that it would be the customers that have not purchased in the last 6 months and customers that are in the history segments of 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, did the men's version of the email campaign perform different than the women's version of the email campaign across various customer segments? We found that the men's email campaign performed differently from the women's, and they did better in purchasing both men's and women's clothing, as opposed to only doing better in their respective sectors. Now, did the campaign perform different when measured across different metrics like visitors, conversion, and total spending? We found that visitors was the best metrics used in evaluating the data, and we found that total spending and conversion metrics left the data skewed to the point that it actually made the models and data visualizations inconclusive. Now, the only anomalies or odd findings really that we found was that the overall campaign was successful. I mean, out of 64,000 customers, there was only, or prospective customers, they only had they really didn't have very many that shopped on their website. So the audience, which audience would you target the men's version to and the women's version to, given the results of the test, and what data do you have to support your recommendation? We found that men's, because they had higher incremental sales and purchase from both men's and women's categories. What are the most important variables in predicting who is likely to visit or not? We found that overall history and recency were the most important variables. Our conclusion is the gender-specific emails made a difference in response from recipients, while the men's email performed well in all overall categories. Some future steps we found for more in-depth analysis. We would recommend running the campaign several times over the course of the year and see if outside environmental factors could be factors. It's possible that the men's campaign did better this time of the year, while the women's campaign could do better during any other time of the year. And that is our presentation. Thank you.